Imagine being told you're special, chosen out of every group on earth. Sounds flattering. Now imagine being told in the same breath, don't let it go to your head. It's not because of anything you did. That's what Moses tells Israel in the book of Deuteronomy. And the logic behind it is more nuanced than most people realize. So let's unpack what Deuteronomy says about why God chose Israel and what that choice demands. Deuteronomy is the first place in the Hebrew Bible where divine election, God's deliberate choice of a particular people for a special relationship, is stated outright. Chapter 7, verses 6 through 8, you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God chose you to be his treasured people out of all the peoples on the face of the earth. It is not because you are the most numerous of peoples that the Lord set his heart on you, for you are the smallest of peoples. It was because the Lord favored you and kept the oath he made to your fathers. Notice the word holy in that passage. In Hebrew, the root word is qadosh, and it doesn't mean morally perfect. It means separated, set apart from the common or ordinary. And in Deuteronomy, this separation works in two directions simultaneously. First, separation from Israel must turn away from idolatry, intermarriage with Canaanites, and the pagan worship practices. Second, separation too. Israel is drawn toward God's service, observance of divine laws, and ritual purity. Holiness here is a relational status, not a moral achievement. One important scholarly note, the Canaanites likely didn't exist as a distinct group when Deuteronomy was composed. These prohibitions probably function as an internal call, urging Israelites to purify their own society from within. So if Israel isn't chosen for being great or numerous, why were they chosen? Deuteronomy's answer is strikingly simple. Spontaneous love. God loved the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and made an oath to them. The patriarchs are the ancestors to whom God made binding covenant promises. Israel's election flows from that oath, not from anything the nation earned. This matters because it strips away every possible basis for national pride. The choice originates entirely with God. Israel is the recipient, not the cause. But here's where Deuteronomy gets really interesting and really honest, because Moses knows exactly what his people are going to think. Moses delivers two sharp warnings against the pride that election can breed. First, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17. Don't say, my own power and the might of my own hand have won this wealth for me. God gave you the power to get wealth, to fulfill his covenant. Second, chapter 9, verse 4. Don't say the Lord has enabled us to possess this land because of our virtues. Wrong. The land is given because of the Canaanites' wickedness, not Israel's righteousness. It's remarkable that the text about being chosen also contains such sharp warnings against the pride that comes with being chosen, and the stakes are high. Possession of the land is conditional on obedience. Fail God, and Israel will be driven out just as the Canaanites were. Election does not equal superiority. Election equals responsibility and humility. Deuteronomy uses two dominant metaphor systems to describe God's love for Israel. The first, husband and wife. God chooses Israel the way a spouse chooses a partner, not because they're perfect, but simply because of love. And this image of covenant faithfulness connects to the prophet Hosea. The second, parent and child. God nurtures, corrects, and disciplines Israel the way a parent raises a child. The parent-child metaphor reaches its most vivid expression in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 10. Listen to this. He found him in a desert region, in an empty, howling waste. He engirded him, watched over him, guarded him as the pupil of his eye. Like an eagle who rouses his nestlings, gliding down to his young, so did he spread his wings and take him, bear him along on his pinions. The eagle metaphor maps directly onto God's relationship with Israel. Step 1, the eagle rouses its nestlings from the nest. God stirs Israel out of comfort and complacency. Step 2, the young eagle falls and struggles. Israel faces trials in the wilderness. Step 3. The eagle swoops beneath and bears the young on its wings. God rescues and sustains Israel. Step 4. The cycle repeats until the young can fly. Israel is prepared for the promised land. So what does all of this add up to? Let's put the whole picture together. Deuteronomy's election theology follows a clear logical chain. It starts with God's love and oath to the patriarchs. The love drives the election of Israel, entirely God's initiative. Election produces holiness, separation from pagan practices, and separation to God's service. Holiness creates obligation, obedience to God's laws. Obedience determines blessing. Possession of the land is conditional on faithfulness. And the whole chain carries a warning: do not boast. Election does not equal merit. Notice the feedback loop. The warning against pride circles back to obligation, because the moment Israel forgets the source of its calling, the entire structure is at risk. The paradox of election: being chosen is simultaneously a gift and a burden. It confers identity and purpose, but demands humility and obedience. Deuteronomy's logic extends beyond ancient Israel. Any community or individual who believes they have a special calling faces the same moral danger, confusing privilege with superiority, confusing blessing with entitlement. Deuteronomy's message is striking in its honesty. You were chosen not because you're the best, but because God loved you. Right? And the love isn't a trophy to display, it's a responsibility to live up to.